Hello and welcome to another episode of the Talking of Minds podcast. In this episode, also, we'll be talking about cognitive bias, which may have some impacts on the way we view our world or in the way we make decisions about our world. Now, all of us may have seen motivational videos or motivational quotes or speeches, TED Talks, etc., where people tell us that if you work hard enough, you will definitely get the results of that. Or if you don't put enough efforts to something, the results will be according to that. And carrying similar messages about the effort that we put in and the results. Now, having such positive outlook to life is something that is desirable. There is something else which is very much similar to that kind of a thought, but may have an effect on how people make their decisions in life. And this is what we call the just world hypothesis, or in popular terms, a belief in a just world. This is a cognitive bias or a general belief that the world is a fair place, that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, or to assume that such kind of some kind of a justice prevails in all the actions in the world. And we may have seen hundreds of proverbs, not only in English, in any language, in any regional languages, in any culture. We may have seen proverbs and sayings that have this same idea behind them. Now we'll look at why this is to be understood and what can be wrong with such kind of a thought. The earliest research on belief in a just world was conducted by Melvin J. Lerner in 1960s, and in 1980 he came out with a book called Belief in a Just World, A Fundamental Delusion, which was one of the most notable contributions to the study of belief in a just world. And it has been shown that because of this belief in a just world, people may justify injustices and wrongdoings. We tend to blame victims for the unfortunate incidents that happen to them, and people can make very bad economic decisions because of this prevailing optimistic thought of your investments giving proportionate results to them. Even victims of various kinds of injustices may blame themselves also, that their actions may have somehow caused the outcomes that they have suffered. And most of the scientific evidence of belief in a just world are in the areas of violence, illness, and poverty, where people tend to believe that if a person is subject to violence, somehow they can be held responsible for that. And similarly, in the case of illness, if someone is ill, that somehow they are responsible for that. Even for poverty, which we know that poverty may not always be an outcome of personal choices or personal investments. It has a lot of social, political, and economic reasons behind them. But with belief in a just world, in people who have higher levels of this belief in a just world, they may blame poor people solely for their poverty. Research on belief in a just world has shown that it has high correlation or high relationship with some variables such as religiosity or dishonesty. And religiosity does not mean that you have to be religious, but the outlook of being strict in their views, blindly following some people or some ideas, all can be considered as religiosity. So something that we traditionally call conservative outlook or a right-wing outlook, all these have correlations with belief in a just world. And recently it has been suggested that belief in a just world can be of two types. One is belief in a just world for self. So, believing that my actions or my actions may have proportionate consequences to them. If I do good, good things will happen to me. And another type of belief in a just world is about others or about the world in general. If people do good things will happen to them, or if the world is fair in some aspects, things, their outcomes will also be fair. So there are two kinds of belief in a just world which have been suggested recently. A number of explanations have been put forward to understand belief in a just world. One is our desire to minimize anxiety, the anxiety which may be caused by with a realization of the world being an unjust place, and your efforts not getting their proportionate results will cause some kind of an anxiety, and we will fall back to this belief in a just world to minimize this anxiety. It has also been shown that belief in a just world can protect your self-esteem and your well-being, and sometimes we may defy logic or rationality to preserve our self-esteem and resort to belief in a just world. And there is a fear of facing vulnerabilities of the world, which may also cause people to stick to a belief in a just world. There is another phenomenon which is closely related to belief in a just world, which is called a system justification theory. It says that people have a tendency to justify and defend the status quo, or the prevailing situation, even if the situation is not advantageous for us, or even if the situation is detrimental to us. We may have this tendency to justify whatever is existing, and this has also been explained as a result of our efforts to reduce uncertainty, threat, or the discord that may happen if we are going to face changes. So in order to avoid facing changes, we tend to justify whatever is existing. Now, religiosity and conservative outlook have also been correlated with the system justification attitude as well. So that's why it is similar to belief in a just world. As I already said, belief in a just world may not be a bad thing altogether, but if you are a person who is in a position of making decisions, especially in a judicial setup where you have to analyze and make decisions on the propriety or the appropriateness of actions taken by people, or atrocities committed to people, if you have this disproportionate tendency to have a belief in a just world, you may do victim blaming even if you don't intend to do that. And this can happen to anything, or anything related to even our daily lives. When a person who is close to us have some kind of a misfortune, and if you have a high level of belief in a just world, you may try to see how they have caused their misery, and this kind of a reasoning may have very bad consequences on the way we make decisions about ourselves and about other people who are around us. And that is why it is important to be aware of this cognitive bias called belief in a just world, and to see if our decisions, our evaluations of people or situations are unduly influenced by our belief in a just world. So that's all about the cognitive bias called belief in a just world. We'll have another episode on more cognitive biases soon. Thank you.